for the first time ever, it's like this parallel universe, like those old Star Trek episodes where you can actually really see, as Jeff would say, everything priced in Bitcoin in the future, it's lower, it's deflationary. And yet in dollars, it's inflationary. And yet we were all taught these things. I was taught this in economics at MIT. And when I got to Wall Street, they said, oh, this is what the Fed does, and this is why it does it. And you just kind of accept it as fact, right? Just like the kids these days
they can't all be wrong.
Right, yeah. Just like probably the kids at school, yeah, accept the fact of climate change is caused by this and the meat eating and the nah. And so, but it takes maybe someone like you to step back and say, well, wait a second, maybe none of this is true. And it's great to have Bitcoin as a practical parallel universe where you can actually see how in this world it's actually weirdly doesn't have to be that way. And then when Jeff starts saying things like, well, look, technology should make everything cheaper in the future, a lot cheaper. Look at your iPhone and et cetera. It's a great way to look at this. I'd say more and more people are opening their eyes, but I would just say still probably the majority of the public is still not aware about their money. And if you're in a lower income or maybe a lower educated population, you still think that the government sending you checks is the best and only way out.
Absolutely. I think, but the beautiful thing about Bitcoin, as you said, is that it's a parallel universe and it's just out there. And it makes it, for me, the good thing about it is that we no longer need to convince people. So I used to believe those things before I got into Bitcoin. And, 2014, 2015, I was a gold bug. I thought gold was the answer. And I was going around trying to tell people that, the Fed is doing something bad and inflation is bad. You don't need inflation. We don't need to print more money to get richer. If you print more tickets to a football stadium, you can't increase the capacity of the football stadium. You have to actually build it. And all of these things before Bitcoin, they fell on deaf ears because, all right, so what is the actionable conclusion of this? If I try to tell this to somebody and I convince them, well, the answer is, all right, well, vote for somebody who's going to reinstate the gold standard. And that's just a completely dead end. It's impossible, well, perhaps not impossible, but it's very difficult to imagine the democratic process which gives the winner, the money printer, being won by somebody who's going to not use the money printer. I mean, it's really like imagining the 100-meter race being won by somebody who's got their legs tied up, because the way you win elections is you make promises about what you're going to do with the money printer. This is political and economic debates in the 20th century are all about how I'm going to print money and give it to the right causes, whereas you are going to print money and give it to the bad causes. I'm gonna destroy the currency to give it to give everybody healthcare and pink unicorns, whereas you are going to do irresponsible things. And at the end of the day, of course, as we saw with the whole debt ceiling kerfuffle over the last couple of weeks in the U.S., at the end of the day, they reach a historic compromise where they agree that, all right, well, you get to print for your thing, I get to print for my thing, and we both bravely destroy the currency together. And of course, in the context of the U.S., the Republicans want to print to invade other countries and enrich the military-industrial complex. The Democrats want to print to buy votes domestically and. But eventually there's always enough money to go around because it's a money printer and there's no opportunity cost. And that's the key essential concept that I try and explain in the Fiat standard, that government money destroys the concept of opportunity cost in politics. And so it's very difficult to get the political process to produce somebody who's going to say, we're not going to destroy the currency, we're going to protect the currency. And that's going to result in, something that can vindicate the ideas that I have. So up until Bitcoin comes about, it's a very lonely, desperate struggle. And then Bitcoin comes about, and you no longer need to convince people. And as a lot of Bitcoiners on Twitter like to say, have fun staying poor. If you don't want Bitcoin, if you don't agree with Bitcoin, if you don't like Bitcoin, continue to use your local government's scam money, continue to hold government bonds, continue to get wiped out, put your money in banks that go under, put your money in fractional reserve Ponzi schemes. And enjoy poverty. That's really the only working alternative to Bitcoin, as I like to call it, is poverty. The only working alternative to Bitcoin is that you're going to have your money destroyed by a government that can print it. And we no longer need to convince people of this anymore, because now Bitcoin does the talking for us. Bitcoin today, of course, for the Bitcoin haters, Bitcoin's always crashing because it's always not, or for the vast majority of its life, it's not close to its all-time high. And so they're always looking from the bottom, from the top down, and saying, well, it was a 69 and now it's a 27, so it's failed. Yeah, but it was a 69 for a few days, that it was in the 60s and 50s and 40s for a few months. But for the 14 years of its existence, the vast majority of the 14 years of its existence, it was way under 27,000. So for the vast majority of people who had bought Bitcoin at any point, they've done much better than any other alternative. So if you look at any kind of time frame that's longer than 3-4 years, basically Bitcoin outperforms pretty much everything. Some exceptions and some points, like at the later part of last year when it was down over 4 years or so. But for the vast majority of its life, over a 5-year period, it's outperformed pretty much everything. And so even when people are gloating about how Bitcoin's down, the bubble has burst, the dream is over, and they're laughing at Bitcoiners, all you got to do is just show me what you've done with your portfolio, with your bonds, with your stocks over the last 5 years, and how has it outperformed Bitcoin? And of course, it's not just that they haven't outperformed Bitcoin, it's that they haven't outperformed Bitcoin while essentially doing nothing with their life but trying to outperform inflation. So you're on CNBC every day, you're reading books and reading articles and paying subscription to newsletters and hiring experts and hiring fund managers and following all the latest fads and trying to develop an investment thesis and investing in all kinds of different companies and jumping around from one to the other and following fundamentals, but also following technical analysis. It's a full-time job, and it's a full-time job that, people with PhDs in economics and giant supercomputers do, and still can't beat Bitcoin. And so, what hope does the average dentist or doctor or athlete or engineer have? Basically, it's very, very, very difficult.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that It is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I'm just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just an overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you got to pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.